freedom is required for real safety. What they say is we have to take your freedom to provide you temporary safety.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gonna take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
We're back. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I am your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach.
You got nothing.
It's so perfect. Zach, Johnny Bravo head Grady, and of course, and as sometimes my lovely wife, Lindy.
Lindy, you're looking lovely today.
Oh,
Don't let him talk to you like that.
So here we are on location. We've got a little different scene today. Lindy, of course, is, as you can see, for those of you who are watching on the videos.
Yeah, I missed the invite to the vacation.
Yeah.
It must got lost in the mail or something.
Lindy wasn't really invited. She's kind of a party crasher. She's a notorious party crasher. She wasn't supposed to be here. So, so Lindy decided she was going to come down and join. Currently, we are on the other coast where the last few episodes have been recorded on my end at least, have been on the Gulf Coast of Florida where the majority of the damage is, although the East Coast over here sustained quite a bit of damage as well. Lindy decided she was going to come in, take the kids, come see my mom, spend a couple days. We had a Serve Pro Elite Retreat. It's like a top dog deal. Yeah, big wig deal. It's pretty cool. Fun time. So here we sit, kind of our last day here on the East Coast before I head back to the Gulf Coast and Lindy heads back home to the Good Life. Welcome to the Good Life. Anyway, Zach, what in the are you drinking today?
Colonel Taylor. So I was in California, which we might talk about a little bit later, but and a buddy of mine, Kelly Opara, had mentioned that this is a little harder to find in the Midwest than on the East Coast. So I was like, yeah, let me find something you just can't get everywhere, you know.
Snag this up. Yeah, good deal.
Expanding the collection.
We've got Lindy is we'll let Lindy do her thing. She's drinking some Wolfgang Puck.
I needed some coffee.
We're recording this in the morning, which is outside of our normal routine. So Lindy's not going to slam a coffee at 10 o'clock at night. No.
Correct.
Or a whiskey at
8 o'clock in the morning. So it's kind of a flip side here. I, on the other hand, don't give a shit what time of day it is. I am drinking a Hudson whiskey, which is a bourbon from New York. And it's actually a really great product. Well, we went out the other day. We were on the other coast, and we went on this with some friends, some Surf Pro friends, out on a little tiki cruise. It's like a little tiki bar with a motor, like a tiki hut rather with a motor. I had, of course, whiskey to bring. Did not have whiskey glasses, so on the way out, there's like a little bodega where they had these for sale. So I bought 5 cups of wine just so I can dump the wine out and use them as whiskey glasses so I didn't have to drink out of paper. So
dude, here's how unknowledgeable I am about any of that, which I just kind of learned, which once you hear it, you're like, well, that makes sense. That the shape of the glass affects the flavor, not just with bourbon or whiskey, but like wine glasses, even beer. Because we were at a brewery. You bought this beer and it had a normal glass with like an X through it, and then like this other fancy glass, and it was like circled because it brings out the flavors more. Or I mean, I don't know all the science behind it, but I never thought about that before.
Yeah, I'm not a whiskey scientist either, but there's definitely some truth to that. It's the shape of the glass, and I'm almost certain it doesn't actually change the flavor. I think it changes the aromatics. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it changes the way smell. Your nose works with your yeah, exactly. Anyway, what's up with you back home, man?
Man, just got back from vacation. That's why That's why we had to push this back a little bit too. So me and my wife got married in 2016 and never went on a honeymoon, never did anything like that. So this was kind of our first ever getaway without like work related stuff to do since we've been married. So it was nice. Some friends of ours from Kansas City all had the trip planned, asked us if we wanted to go. So we jumped on that. So we went to Sonoma. Well, we went to the 49ers game first in Santa Clara and then down or up. I have no idea, dude. California, you know.
Who gives a shit?
We went to Sonoma, went on a couple wine tours, and yeah, it was a good time, man. It was perfect. It was beautiful.
That's great. So you went toward the wineries.
Yeah. And while I'm on that, I guess I got to give some shout out. Ian watched my kids the entire time we were gone, much like you guys jumped in and watched our kids before.
Did they stay at your house and sleep on your couch?
Yeah, Ian did one up to you guys. He just stayed at the house with all the dogs.
I brought him to school.
Zach and Carrie Fisher picked him up on Sunday, brought him to church. We didn't even ask them. They're just like, yeah, we'll pick him up and take him. Carrie Chester picked him up from school yesterday and let him hang out. Like in church, we're talking about finding your people. Our friend group is just crazy, dude. You guys are all awesome. Anytime we need anything, nobody hesitates and they just help out. So got to give a shout out to some people because definitely can't go, worrying about our kids back home. And it's not just that you guys would do it. It's that our kids actually love you and we know they're safe and you guys love them like their own. So friend group is great, dude.
For sure.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. We wish we had some more friends that would take care. We would.
You guys
we
got
only
too
had
many.
some more friends.
You guys got too many.
That's true. We've got too many friends. I'm actually trying to get rid of a couple. Some aren't going to make the next cut. We do our annual cuts. Since COVID, those cuts have been more and more vast. So we're down to we're down to 18 total people, 9 couples. Actually, I think it's 7 couples, 2 divorced couples, and we won half of them.
Okay. Yeah.
In the divorce.
You can't keep them both usually. Well, the very first day we were there, the boys got pretty tore up. So some of the wives weren't super stoked about it, but
we had one of those too on our trip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a good one. We oh man, I shouldn't talk too much about it. Bro. We had out on the tiki bar, out on the floating tiki bar. It was BYOB.
This is this trip?
This is this trip. Yeah.
Okay.
When Lindy came down, we go day 2, I think we go out on this little thing. And long story, way shorter than it actually took place. We ended up pulling one of the dudes back on a flatbed. we found a flatbed.
Dude was not small. He was
giant.
Oh man.
And just rolled his ass like it went from cops to ambulance to EMTs to bandages to flatbeds to Weekend at Bernie's type stuff.
Man.
But they were a really great crew that we were with. A lot of fun.
The dude is okay, right?
He survived.
Okay.
He survived. He doesn't remember a whole lot of it. Fortunately.
Just wake up with some bruises and some scratches.
Yeah. Fortunately, I was able to capture some of the moments on camera. So
that's awesome.
Worked out great. Yeah. But
so what's up with you though, vacationing in the state you've been in for the past 3 weeks? That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so it's no real different for me. Vacationing to Florida always feels like I'm home.
So I was gonna say you're from Florida, so it's more like just visiting home.
That's right. It's just coming home in different capacities.
We're usually always on the Atlantic side, so we're hardly. I haven't been on the Gulf side that much, and it's way more beautiful over there.
Over there,
okay. Yes.
For sure. Yeah, more money over there too. Rich people.
Well, retirement. Yeah.
I mean, there's rich people. To be clear, there's rich people strewn throughout the entire state of Florida. However, I'm no economist, but I would venture to say most of the money resides on the Gulf Coast in this lovely state.
The Gulf Coast.
The Gulf Coast. Yep.
So you're on the Gulf Coast now, though, no?
No, we're currently on the Atlantic. Yep.
Okay.
We're in Daytona Beach area.
I got it confused.
Yep. Which, dude, we showed up here. So I won't even walk you through our tour day Florida, but from Marco Island to Fort Myers to St. Pete to Orlando to Daytona, back to Fort Myers, St. Pete, or Clearwater, back to here. It's been an adventure over the last few days, but basically are on the ocean side where there's waves and fun and youth. And on the other side, it's like more, I mean, it's the Gulf, but it's more like a bay, kind of looks like a lake where it's just calm water most of the time. There's no waves. It's clear. And there's more calm, chill things to do. When we were kids growing up here, we called it the old people coast.
Yeah, super lame for kids.
Yeah, and then we were like, oh man, the Gulf Coast is way better. And I ended up telling Lindy that story. Like when we were kids, that was where all the old people went. And now look, all the young people. And then it dawned on me, oh shit.
We're the old people.
We're the old people. The coast hasn't gotten any younger. We are the old people now. And I get it. And it's a super great coast over there. A lot of lovely things to do.
So the transition has happened. You're officially the old people.
We left the boys with my mom. Actually, they refused to leave with us because they tend to hang out with my mom. But we have Cora with us. So thank God for the devil that is in the iPhone, because the iPhone gets to babysit Cora while we record a podcast. So
hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So what's it like? Because you guys were apart, what, 3 weeks?
I think 3 weeks and change, probably.
The word we created before we started was the reunition.
The reunition.
Yes. What was that like? How was it like to see the family, kids?
Ooh.
As soon as we got here, I was like, okay, let's go. And he was like, but I haven't seen my kids. I was like, oh yeah. So I was ready to go.
He forgot about that.
Yeah. So we were coming from two different worlds. So the world where I haven't seen them and the world where she has been fully engulfed by them alone.
Right. Yes.
So guess who won?
I won. I was the more important one. Well, we asked the kids, and it was short and sweet because the kids, I mean, of course they missed me, and of course they they were excited to see me, but they also came here not to see me, and they were Grandma. Very clear about. They came here to see Grandma.
They also haven't seen Grandma, so
exactly. So it was a quick. It was a quick reunion, and on to the hotel business there. Lindy and I.
So you guys just got away a little bit, left the kids with your mom.
Yeah. So I got here at night on whatever the hell day, and then that night we stayed in a hotel. The next morning saw the kids again for another hour or two. So total few hours, and then back to the Gulf Coast to do our Surf Pro deal, the Elite Retreat, which was a fantastic time, man. I got to spend time, a few days with top earners in the system. They're basically all, I think everyone is probably 8-figure earners and super smart entrepreneurs, business people, and people who have kind of been in similar situations from us. Especially during this event where we got to talk about the storm event, how things were going, what our processes were, what we were, how we were approaching the event and all of the things, money, our team members, all of that. So it was a really great time and location for us to do that event.
There was a guy that we didn't know who he was. He came up to us the last day that we were there. And well, not me, him. And he goes, Matt. And he was like, yeah.
Hey, sure. Guy.
Like, no, but then he goes, you have a podcast. We're like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
That's great.
I was like,
no.
Yeah, no, I had no idea who he was. And I feel like I had seen him around. We may have met in passing at some point. I don't know. He looked familiar, but I didn't know who he was. He knew I didn't know who he was. And he was like, hey, he almost seemed kind of almost nervous. And he's like, I've been wanting to talk to you.
You're a celebrity, bro.
Bro.
Can I get an autograph?
Yeah. I'll sign that picture you got in the back there actually for you. So yeah, man, it was really cool. I guess our podcast is circulating throughout the Surf Pro system. So sort of some context here. Surf Pro is comprised of capitalist, entrepreneurial people, and mostly conservative value, good, hardworking Americans who believe in working for everything they get. They believe in giving back. They believe in all of the same core principles that we believe in, mostly patriots. I'm sure there's the one-offs, and they're not at the Elite Retreat. They're not the top earners. Okay. They're probably the victim mentality ones that the top earners are eventually going to buy out and squeeze out of the system because they feel entitled. I digress. Yeah, evidently the podcast has kind of been circulating. I mentioned, I think on the last episode, that our CEO at corporate, his kids, one of my buddies, Adam Berger, he's in South Dakota in Sioux Falls. He's kind of an up and comer, if you will. He's growing his team, but he's totally digging it. the other day, he sent me a video. Actually, yesterday, he sent me another one. I don't know if I even told you this. He was with another Serve Pro owner, going there to kind of help him with a construction project. And he basically sends me a picture and was like, hey, I'm here with such and such. And lo and behold, within 5 or 10 minutes, whatever he said, we're watching your podcast. So he sent me a picture of him showing the other Serve Pro owner my podcast. And last night, he sent me a video of him with one of his flooring contractors. It's pretty cool. I'll send you the picture anyway.
Yeah, spread the word, man. Those are the kind of people we need. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird having people know you that you don't know. And then approaching you who know shit about you. And I was like, how do you know who I am? And he was like, you got a podcast, man. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. See my podcast. Sweet. Very cool.
Oh, you're one of the 280 so far. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. You're one of the 280. Yeah, very cool. Cool experience all around.
So there's a certain threshold you have to meet to get invited, or they just invite the top so much percent, or...
Yeah, total revenue. And I don't know what entry level in is exactly, but yeah, 8-figure earners are the ones coming.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. That's good.
Yeah,
shit.
So 10 million and up. And then there's a top 10, and there's levels to this shit. Right. And we're super honored. One of the common beliefs and sort of commonalities between all of the people there, and we talked about this briefly, was they were all just kind of humbled to be there and to see all of these people. I mean, all presumably millionaires who have worked their ass off, all of them, no matter what level, humbled to be there, proud for their accomplishments, and understand kind of God's gift to them and what their reward for what they have put in is. And a lot of us just kind of sat around just soaking it in. Like, can you believe this is where we're at? Like the shit where we were in sometimes 5, 10, 15 years ago. It's like night and day, but it's a true testament to just digging your heels in, putting your head down and not quitting.
Like sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Brooke just sent us a video of our first office from 5 years ago today. And it was the most dungy.
Dude, that's so cool.
And I was like, wow, it feels like 15 years ago.
Dungy's a good word.
Like, is that a word?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
We just making up words here.
Yes, that's
but
exactly right.
I mean, capitalism can be a beautiful thing, man. It's cool when you get people that reach that level, that stay humble and understand where they came from. Because money, as we know, part of the problem in the world today is money can change people. You get people with too much power, taking advantage of capitalism. I've
got kind of a belief on that. You said money can change people, and I'm not gonna totally disagree with you. Okay, I don't think money actually changes people, and I'll go as far as to say 99+% of the time, money doesn't change people. I know a lot of wealthy, a lot of successful, a lot of rich people, and I think in most cases, the money exposes who they really are. I don't think it changes them into that. I think it just exposes who they always were. The majority, and I'm telling you, 99+% people, I think the poor and the middle class and the misfortunate and the unfortunate, the victims, again, you know my thoughts on a lot of this, but that's the agenda, man. The rich have been absolutely vilified and villainized. They have absolutely by the big media, the rich. They're the evil capitalists. There's the people who are evil capitalists. Number one, were evil before they were wealthy. And what the propaganda machine wants everyone to think is that being rich is a crime. Being rich is not what you want. Being rich should not be desired. Being rich is evil. Being rich changes you. But as someone who, if I've got thousands of rich friends, I mean, rich at levels from, millionaires to billionaire, there's a few people in that group that we meet that are like, kind of a douche, but are they evil? They're just douchebags. And I think money probably exposes their douche. Like we always say, their douche awareness.
Douche awareness.
Their douche awareness isn't
another
quite
coin
there.
Phrase.
Yeah. I don't think money's changing people. People that earn their money, that are self-made, who worked hard, went through the hard knocks, the hard lessons, built their own shit. Money, they're typically good, hardworking Americans who have been grinding, putting their whole life on the side to build their empires and to do what they're doing. Money's just exposing them as better people. The propaganda machine wants people to think that the rich are evil.
I like that.
So, well,
like that.
Yeah, just kind of my take on things. I thought about it not long ago. That's why I was quick to jump on that. So.
Glad anyway, I brought it up. That's a good little nugget.
That was a good little nugget. Yeah, fuck that. Be rich. And you know what?
And the lazy people want to get rid of capitalism.
Of course. And the reason why the agenda is pushed is because, well, like I say to everyone all the time, if we know this is a fact, the government and the people in power want to get more power and retain the power they have. And by power, we mean the ability to control, right? If they have the ability to control us, that gives them more power. Who can they control more? Rich people or poor people?
Right.
The poor are easy to control, the dependent. So as I tell everyone, if you want to be the opposite, if you want to not be controlled, you want to be the opposite of what they do, the biggest fuck you is independence. Go build something. Go build wealth. Go build a business. It's very easy to do if you just put your head down in it, respect the time, and do it. 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Don't quit, and you'll get there. But that's the opposite of what they want. They want us poor. They want us dependent. They want us sick. They want us fat. They want us unhealthy. They want us drunk. Drink, don't get drunk.
This day and age, like you're saying, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, which it could. But if you do it right, you could even shorten that time frame if you want to with the technology we have today. Like how many overnight internet freaking stars are there? Whatever your passion is, once again, whatever your passion, whatever your purpose, just find something, build it for sure.
I agree. And as we talk about the purpose, every one of these people that we hung out with, I mean, all again, big time earners. And a lot of them have been at it for, 20, 30 years, talking people that are extremely successful, extremely well-versed, knowledgeable, and seasoned in all aspects. They get it. They fully understand what purpose has done for them. They have found a purpose early on, latched onto it, and did exactly what we always say. Find your purpose, serve your purpose, and also they are vicious dogs when it comes to protecting their purpose. Nobody's shitting on their shit, man.
Right.
They are attack dogs and vicious, but they also understand the power of giving. And philanthropy and giving knowledge and experiences and to their teams, just like us, just like we always talk about. So it's been a pretty cool experience on this one. It is every year. Every year we get to go. It's a pretty powerful experience. It's always fun too.
How many years have you been?
Yeah, so this is
reached that threshold.
So this is our second year on this specific one, but throughout the years, we've been invited to kind of other similar things where they kind of get the top dogs in each market and from different regions together. And I don't know, I've been to 4 or 5 of those all together, but this specific retreat, this is our second year. We'll certainly make it on this third. Once you kind of make it, you don't really go back.
Because you keep saying them or those guys or them, but that's you, man. Take some pride in that, man. You're one of them.
Yeah. Sure. Them. It's interesting. A lot of people here have been for longer and more years than I have who still think the same thing. Like I kind of said, we're all kind of one of the major common themes was all of us can't believe that we're here. Although every one of us that I've spoken to knew that they were going to be here years before they ever got here. It was just a matter of when they get here, not if they get here. Lindy and I talk about it all the time, how you can't expect people to, I actually made a post about it the other day. You can't expect people to give you the respect you feel you deserve inside if you haven't done shit yet. Now, there's some power in knowing that you deserve respect without demanding the respect.
Right.
When you haven't done the shit that's in your mind yet, but knowing that it's in your mind and continuing to drive forward and achieve, at some point, the respect just comes. Like people will notice. And if they don't notice, it's because you haven't fucking done enough yet. If you are not getting respect from your peers or the people around you or your family or your friend group, you haven't done enough yet to actually earn the respect. That's the issue that people kind of fall victim to, is wanting the respect that they believe they should have and have earned, but they haven't put it out to the world enough to actually earn it. Once you get it, you kind of see it. One of the common feelings is that we're all kind of surprised to feel that feeling at every level.
Right.
I mean, the top dog in our ServPro system, friends of mine in my entrepreneur organizations, I mean, who are $100 million earners, they all feel the same. Like we sit there, we drink whiskey, we break bread, and they say the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm just a dumb farmer, just a dumb construction worker, just a dumb beekeeper, from Iowa or from Nebraska.
It's like that old military. Well, I've heard it in the military, but I'm sure it's in other organizations. Like if you have to remind people you're in charge, I mean, it's too late. You've already lost them.
My buddy, Rob Taylor, who's actually the beekeeper, one of the beekeepers. I've got a couple beekeeper friends. Ironically, how do I have so many friends who are beekeepers? I have a lot of them. I bet I've got random. 5. Yeah.
Obviously, there's money in it.
I guess so. I think they just mostly do it for fun and for shits and giggles. Rob, he was actually a politician in Iowa. He told me one day, if you have to go to the podium to explain it, you've already lost. And dude, that's true in exactly how you just described. Like if you've got to explain to people why they should respect you or give you or follow you, then they're not going to follow you.
Yeah.
You're lost. You have to show them. And that takes a long time, a lot of dedication to kind of achieve that. And the people who get to that level, they start to feel it.
Yep.
We got a kid in the background. What are your thoughts?
No, she's not listening to you now. Now you're trying to get her attention.
Now she's mad. Now she's mad at me.
But that's funny you brought up your posts, Matt, because I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted you to be able to explain a little bit, because I think that airport post that you put, and if you don't know, go follow Matthew Marchese on Facebook. And
if you don't know, now you know.
But Matt made a post about airports essentially just being communism because they tell you what to do and you do it.
Because they fucking are is why I made that post.
Right. But what I wanted you a chance to explain is obviously we can't just have anybody coming through an airport not getting checked for anything. Where's the happy medium? Like you don't want to be sitting on an airplane knowing that anybody on there could be carrying anything at any given time. I mean, you're not going to feel, or do you?
I'm getting more and more angry as you talk.
Or do you?
They understand. Okay. And by they, I mean the people who seek to control every fucking thing. Humans, people, the whole world. Those people understand the value in instilling fear, a fear mentality. So what you just did was you just said, well, what about our safety? Okay. Right. And you'll notice there's a common ground every single time they take our rights and our freedoms. It's all on the
safety.
It's all on the premise of it being for our safety. Well, what if we're like, well, we don't need you to do that. We need to feel safe. Well, then they heighten that up and they make you feel scared. And I think it was Ben Franklin said something along the lines of those who would give up essential liberties for a little bit of temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And you will have neither. Okay. Ultimately, so the kind of the condensed answer on that is what we need to figure out is there really that big of a threat that we're afraid of in the airport? I mean, think about it. Number one, premise of the airport fear came on the heels of 9/11.
Right.
Okay. In order to believe that level of fear is what we should all feel about an airport and airport security is based on what I believe is a false premise that 9/11 wasn't an inside job.
Right.
That it wasn't done intentionally for this purpose. And again, as I always say, I don't want to get into the details of the argument that the left narrative and the right narrative put out for us to argue over it. I want to talk about the outcomes. The outcomes are what? The outcomes were our rights were taken. The government granted themselves special permissions to spy on its own citizens. They named it something called the Patriot Act, and it isn't patriotic at all. Okay. It's anti-patriotic. And this goes back to if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of your essential liberty for a little bit of temporary safety or security, you deserve neither. Okay. Back to our last or 2 episodes ago where it's the same concept of freedom is not free. Okay. I have come to terms with the fact that if I want the luxury as an American to be a free citizen, to travel in and around my country on an airplane, I'm assuming a level of risk that I don't want the fucking government to come in and tell me, well, we want you to be safe. No, you don't. Because once the rights are gone, okay, once they have, for our safety, taken away all of our rights and they control everything, it has never been a less safe environment for us to live in. Freedom is required for real safety. What they say is we have to take your freedom to provide you temporary safety. Freedom is not free, man. And if you want to do it, also going along with that, it doesn't have to be extreme. No one has yet to ever be able to explain how wearing a mask in front of plexiglass and pulling down I can explain exactly how it's communism because they're taking away our expressions and our ability to use our facial expressions to communicate with each other in a dark, demented, lonely, controlled world. And that's what you feel in an airport. And you can see the people on that post. I had people direct message me, tell me, dude, that is a ridiculous. I've felt this way about airports for years. You walk into an airport and you feel you are no longer free. Someone's always yelling at you, directing you, this and that. And what happened is, inevitably, through COVID, they decided they're going to take that airport feel and that airport environment, and they're going to put it out into the rest of civilization, which is you walk into a restaurant, sir, sit down. It's for your safety. What the fuck? Me sitting down is for my safety? So I can stand up without or with a mask on, but when I sit down and on the mask on, and that's for my safety, and that gives some dumb fucking bartender the right and the authority to scream at me and tell me what to do? It's the airport authority in a restaurant or a bar. It's the airport authority in our kids' daycares. It's the airport authority. It's the government in our kids' schools. It's the same exact program, man.
So I'm glad
the airport is just one of them.
And I'm glad you tied it back in because everyone would be like, well, what the hell does an airport have to do with, everyday life in general? But it's just building blocks, man. It's this now, then it's this later, then it's this, then it's this. And everyone is just going to be okay with it because they've gradually done it to you. It's not just one big push. So they got to kind of lay the groundwork, airport security, that type of thing to build upon it eventually. Safety. It's all gone. Yeah. Under the ruse of it's for your safety. Yeah. I just wanted you a chance to explain it a little bit more in depth. Yeah. Sometimes, it can get lost in translation on a post, so. I'm
not trying to say that there should not be safety mechanisms and safety nets in place for a reasonable level of safety. Right. And I think the X-ray machines and the TSA has provided plenty of safety. And again, if you want to go and fly on an airplane, or if you want to live in a country where air travel is a thing and available to its citizens to travel freely and quickly, there's going to be a level of risk that we have to assume, because with all freedoms comes a level of risk. It's not free. We pay for it with that risk. There's the answer. What are your thoughts, honey? Are you bored?
No.
Am I boring the shit out of you? I know I'm like leaning in front of her so she can't talk. I'm sorry. I don't like this setup. I like kind of having our own mics.
Yeah.
And seeing, I like also looking at your beautiful eyes. This is difficult to do through the screen.
I know.
What about mine?
I'm good. I just find it interesting, but we talk about this daily.
My poor wife.
It's stuff that I don't even think about. And then when he brings it up, like the airport post, I'm like, wow.
And I love how you changed the definition of freedom is not free. Because when most people hear that phrase, they just think of, the death that the people that have died to get to the freedom. But you're saying, no, if you want to be free, there are certain things you have to understand that come with that freedom. Like you said, a risk you have to assume to be free.
That's exactly right. I didn't change the definition of it. I'm trying to change the interpretation of it back to what its original meaning is. Ian, look up that quote, Ben Franklin.
Here he goes.
Benjamin Franklin once said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety."
Ooh, I love that. That
Yes.
gave me goosebumps.
Dude, and that is it. That is the quote. That is the essential understanding of freedom is not free. You have to be able to take on the danger that comes along with freedom. And if you're not willing to, then you're fucking everybody. Then we're all screwed because we're all going to lose our freedom. So yeah, man. And you're exactly right. Everyone I talk to about it has that interpretation of like, freedom is not free. Well, we lose military people for freedom. No.
And the airport is obviously a big example of that, but also just driving a car in general. Like if you want the freedom to be able to get in a car and go anywhere you want to go, you're assuming risk. Like in the Army, like recruiting, the biggest reason people didn't want to join, I don't want to die, right?
Of course.
Well, do you get in a vehicle and drive anywhere at any given time? I mean, you're assuming risk for the freedoms that you want to have.
You want to go out on a boat. You want to go out, like literally everything worth a shit, everything wonderful in this world. You assume risk. And when the government heightens the interpretation of risk, you can bet your ass 10 out of 10 times on the other end of that is the loss of a freedom. And that's why I don't care about any of that shit in the middle, because it's all lies. There's enough truth in there to get two sides arguing over it. So we're at each other's throat. And no matter what we decide in the middle, the end game is the loss of our freedoms. And it's always for our safety. And it's always enforced by people, which is another post that I made. It's always enforced by people who say, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what I'm told, because they have the fear of not being able to take care of the family and protect their livelihood.
Keep their job, yeah.
Dude, that's how fear drives the loss of our rights.
Well, we'll touch base on it real quick. You're getting a little of it back with the Supreme Court judge in New York, right?
And I'll explain what I know of the situation. I want to be very clear. I have not studied it. As you know, I've been up to my eyeballs in things these last week, but
just
my mom actually.
Initial thoughts.
So my initial thoughts are, I want to wait because I don't trust any of them and anything they say. And I don't think anything is on purpose. And I think this very well could almost definitely, if not highly likely, be just another nugget of information from the media and from the propaganda machine to make me and other people and you and other people and us and go at each other's throat and say, see, I told you so.
So in New York, they reversed the workers that got fired for being unvaccinated were allowed to come back, which I don't even know if I'd want to if I was any of them. But
well, a lot of them won't. But I bet you they're going to do a stipulation where, in order to get the back pay, they're going to have to come back for X amount of months or whatever, X amount of days in order to receive their back pay, and they'll come back in. Surely this is some sort of plan. Everything is planned,
and the timing is not a coincidence. Like that's we got. What do we have coming up? I mean,
exactly. It's all a plan, and it's all released information for the control.
Put out all the good news stories right before the elections.
Right.
But some of us knew. So I think there's kind of two sides to this. Number one, if everyone would have complied, there would have been no reason for them to release this information. I think their plan fell apart. Either that, or it was literally just a sort of a reconnaissance exercise mission for them to see how the people were going to respond for something that is planned in the future. Either way, the outcome is the same. There's no way you're doing this right now with as many people as we had that were willing to kind of hold our ground and not go along with it. We knew that if we did it, if we held firm, eventually the truth was going to set us free, and ultimately they were going to have to walk that back. And we identified this, early on. Basically, after the 2 weeks to flatten the curve that I think most decent people gave them, even the conspiracy theorists, were like 2 weeks to flatten the curve. All right.
See what happens.
Dude, come day 17, I'm going, no. All this shit seems a little too not adding up to us. And at that point, it was super easy just to look at it and say, well, eventually they're going to have to walk that back. Why? Because there's too many people that are not going to inject themselves with any kind of test drug for the well-being for our safety, for the well-being of someone else. Like, there's too many selfish people. There's too many conspiracy theorists. There's too many people that don't take drugs that they don't need. So to force that amount of people, and as we started, talking to our friends, talking to people on them saying, I'm willing to lose my job, we said, well, eventually there's going to be a whole bunch of us. We're either going to be in labor camps and the decent people on the other end are going to revolt, or we're going to stand our ground. We're going to hold it, and they're going to end up walking this back. And that's exactly what I said. I mean, I got called. My commander, our commander, Sergeant Major, told me that I was a threat to national security and uttered the words, right, dude, incredible. And my response, I laughed. I felt like it was disrespectful, and I apologized for laughing, but I couldn't. It was my initial reaction was, I cannot believe you are calling me a threat to national security for this. Like, explain that to me. Of course, no one could. And of course, they said it's for our safety and they're just doing what they're told. And I said, well, I want you to know someday you're going to be embarrassed to have ever said that. And you're going to have to walk that back because that makes no sense. And the truth is already coming out. They're just suppressing it. And here we are. And that was kind of what the end result on that was. My mom sent a link, I don't know, NBC or one of them bullshit news networks. The New York Supreme Court had found that the COVID vaccine did not help prevent the spread of the virus. So all you people who are listening, let me wrap that damn post up too. For all you people that are listening, okay, that attacked your family and attacked your friends and made them feel like, or tried to make them feel, let's never bought into it, they were dirty people, or like they were murderous, or they were killing babies, or this was a pandemic of the unvaccinated, or whatever the hell other bullshit you made your family and your friends feel under the false pretense that this miracle drug was preventing the spread of this. Okay. Now it's out. They're now telling you, believe them when they're telling you this time. It didn't help prevent the spread. And you owe your family and your friends an apology. And here's what I will tell you about those people. Almost all of my friends are these people. They will accept your apology. They never wanted to be divided. They always wanted to be united. And the same people that would not get the Trump juice, as I call it, injected into their body, okay, that all those Biden voters got injected into their body, volunteers lining up for the next one, get it in my kids. Those people always understood the value and the importance of being united. Being united is the most important thing we can do to protect our freedoms and our purposes. Apologize to those people. They will accept your apology. If they don't, you call me, you text me. I will talk to them and explain to them that you were duped, you were tricked. The propaganda machine got you. The largest psychological operation ever launched on humanity took place. It makes sense that people were duped. A lot of us weren't. But the reality is you owe these people an apology. And that's what it's going to take to get this country back together. We need to start now.
I mean, as you said, everybody was duped. Like it's a normal human reaction, or it should be an understanding that you should be able to trust, news media, government officials, doctors, like those. If you trusted them, there's no shame in that. You should be able to do that. But as we're seeing now, most of it was all bullshit.
I heard Frisella say a few weeks before I came, I think and he's right. He basically said it's a reasonable expectation for us to be able to trust our government.
Right.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable expectation to be able to trust our medical professionals and trust our scientists and trust our government. Unfortunately, we can't. And it's up to us to unite. Get together, get with your families, apologize. We are not filthy. We are not the people causing the pandemic. We're not killing old people. That's a lie. It was propaganda. It was propaganda to incite fear, just like the airports. It was propaganda to incite fear. And what does the fear do? The fear results the loss of our rights every time. It's easy to predict, man, when the fucking outcome is exactly the same every single time.
Boom. Mic drop.
Mike,
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. You got me all pissed off now. How am I going to deal with the rest of my day?
Yeah. Now you got to live your life. Hey, you're on the beach though, right?
That's right. Yeah. We're on the beach. I couldn't,
hard to be mad for too long.
Yeah. The beach is right there.
But there is no beach. The water is all the way up to the seawall. Like there is no beach. No
Yeah.
sand.
The water's still so high from the hurricane.
Yeah.
High tide and low tide are all high. It's like my stories, long stories and longer stories. It's high tide and higher tide. Anyway, all right, man, let's get out of here. I know we got shit to do. It's been a long day, but I appreciate you. Zach, you got something to say? Like, share this thing. What do we got to do?
Share, love. Hey, obviously the word's getting out. So tell people, tell them to follow, tell them to listen. We should be on Apple soon, I believe. So hopefully we get
We'll
more.
all be together. Hopefully
we'll all be together soon. Back in the studio.
As soon as we come back, I'm gonna do another giveaway. I've got a couple things in mind. I'm gonna do something big. So when you do share with your friends that it's gonna be something that is going to have to hold your attention longer than one single morning on one single minute of one single episode. I'm gonna do like a Easter egg hunt where you got to go through 3 episodes or something, but we're gonna make the giveaway way worth it. I think I'm gonna give away a gun. It'll be pretty badass.
Hell yeah.
I think so too, man. Protect that freedom, protect your purpose. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate you coming. Zach, I love you, buddy. Thanks for being with us, dude.
Peace
Bye,
out.
guys.
Ian, take care, dude.
Peace out, home skillet.